Hey everyone. So today I'm going to play around with the popular raindrop effect brought to you by TNR. I'm going to approach it a little bit differently with some simple shapes and patterns like swirls. Nothing overly complicated. Be sure to keep your light on hand because you're going to need to come in every minute or so to quick set it. You don't have to fully cure it while you're doing this, but you definitely need to kind of lock your design in place or it'll spread out too much. So I'm just starting with little simple line. We'll come up close and I could show you some sexy swirl action. I'll show you a few of these and then we'll just go into fast forward mode. Now, doing that enough times, you'll build up the muscle memory and then it'll sort of just become natural to be able to bust this stuff out. I learned this from quilting, actually, and that led me to drawing. And that led me here, which I think is fluid art. Is that what we would call this? There's a little bit more swirl action. And you could certainly just do swirls. Me, I'm coming in and being kind of extra. That's a whole lot of excess, which isn't necessary, but it makes it look cool. That I had a problem right there, and it kind of annoyed me, but I just styled it out. And by styling it out, I mean you just add more stuff. You make it look like you meant it to be that way. That's what will happen if you just repeat your mistakes. I'm sorry about the flashing here. I'm having to go in and cut all of those frames out. It's really, really hard to do that. If you're watching this and you think, oh, well, I don't draw. This isn't really drawing. This is doodling. These are all shapes that you learned when you were in kindergarten. And you're certainly going to make it unique. I couldn't recreate this if I tried. And you can copy me, but you're not going to recreate it either. What you do create will end up being completely unique to you. And hey, we're all here to learn from each other, right? Like any sane person would stop at this point, but I'm not sane. And these things always look really cool if you just jam-pack lines and swirls and dots and lines and swirls and dots. It's literally the same thing over and over again. And the good thing about doing it like this is that if you screw it up, you can just pick it off, do it again. But I say embrace your mistakes, you know? Like use that as an opportunity to pivot in a direction that you may not have gone otherwise. I think that's where the magic happens and how you discover your own personal style. When and where you stop at this point is completely up to you. That's always the difficult part of any art project. Is sort of saying, hey, enough is enough. I think Leonardo da Vinci took like 15 years to paint the Mona Lisa. So just have fun with it. I stop when I run out of room. It's good to respect a little bit of negative space because ultimately you need that to give you contrast. So now I'm just going to come in with the color and dump it on. Not being too mindful of it other than I just want to blend them. I don't want it to be super patchy. The blue was a choice here, but my intrusive thoughts won out. And then I'm going to come in and spread it out. Try not to stay in any one place too long because when you're dusting the molds like this, the first color that touches it will be the first color that stays. I'm just trying to get it blended because I don't want it to look patchy. And here, I also wanted to note that you could just throw some clear in it at this point and have this really cool embossed look, but I didn't. I was going to back it with black and we were going to flip it over and get the raindrop effect, but with swirls and stuff. And then, well, things don't always go as you planned. And here's where it all went horribly wrong. See, normally I use just a black acrylic paint to tint my resin, but I had run out of that, and so I ended up using a resin dye. The irony of, you know, a specific resin product being the problem, but I digress. I ended up using too much of it, and as you probably know that with resin dye, you're only supposed to use like 5%-ish. Yeah, I used way too much. And so when I woke up in the morning, I realized disaster had struck. The resin didn't set. And so I sat down and contemplated my life choices. I thought I could walk away from this or throw a clear coat on the back in the off chance that it might save it. And what do you know? We saved it. Now, with that said, it's still pretty screwed up because it didn't cure all the way. I'm going to have to top coat it and seal it in and all of that. But all's well that ends well. I'm going to get this into some better light and stop yammering and send you off with some pleasant music. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you try something. Best of luck to you, and I'll catch you on the next one.